Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have an update on the subscriber from Delaware who had the encounter somewhere in Pennsylvania with a Dogman. I also have another subscriber encounter. Before we get into those, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fan fiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that, well, they really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. And with that, guys, let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? Alright guys, right before we get into the update, a little bit of news and addressing a couple things. First and foremost, the vocalization. For all of those people saying it's an elk, it's a cow, and I've been near cows, milked them all my life, did whatever with them, I don't care. The vocalization was compared to 50,000 animal calls. Now, if you guys didn't hear it, you're hearing it again. I'm 99.9% sure that an elk and a cow, regardless of if it was a female cow or a bull, it could have been a Jersey, a Holstein, whatever you want it to be, it was compared to. So it's not a elk or a cow. Also, there's no pastures near this gentleman's yard. There's swamp and woods. So unless we have some sort of swamp cow or swamp elk, I don't know. Just wanted to clarify that for the vast amount of people who are amateur veterinarians and whatever. Second, interesting text. Apparently Luke from Taylor, Mississippi is I really don't know. I got a text from his wife stating not to answer any texts from his phone because there was some sort of, I don't even know, warrant and whatever to apparently talk to him, search property, whatever. So let's keep Luke in our prayers. Don't know what is going on, but I know the dude is a stand-up guy. I really don't know. So on to the Pennsylvania update. Normally when I get an update, I redo the narration. I'm not going to do that because it was literally only a week ago. But I will touch bases on a couple of things to refresh people's memories. The first week of May 2020, this person had their encounter. Guy's a normal guy, Delaware, from, on the border of southeastern Pennsylvania. He's got his own business. He likes camping. He's got a 120-pound pit bull lab mix named Pete, who he went camping with himself. He's a trout fisherman. His family didn't go with him. He brought his trailer and set it up in a U-shape formation. The weekend was really uneventful. Then as the campers would dissipate and the week comes to, he meets a couple of guys, starts, a little camping friendship. They're, eating food together, having a couple drinks together, chilling out by the fire. All of a sudden, he is in his tent. It's nighttime. And he hears a loud ruckus. Something was by his trailer. He's got one of those, I'm assuming kind of like a snowmobile trailer enclosed. He kind of set that up like his office. His grill was outside that he'd been cooking on. So he hears this noise. His dog is now awake and he is scared. Both parties are scared, the dog and the dude. He shines his flashlight, or he can see the shadow of whatever it is coming up. So he turns his flashlight and then he sees the shadow of a head, and it's a giant wolf with 2 pointed ears, and it's growling. He could hear the neighbors talking to each other. All of a sudden, his dog snaps out of it, starts barking ferociously. There's a thump, and he takes a shot at this creature. Now he's got a 12 gauge and a 45 pistol. He ends up shooting the Dogman in the face, and he gets out. This thing's writhing in pain. He's unloaded his shotgun on this creature, and another person from the campsite comes out with, I believe, .357, shoots it. The thing dies. They call the police. Mind you, now all of the campers are out and about, taking pictures of this thing, probably having some panic attack. And I'm not laughing because this is not funny at all, but I laughed because I would be having a panic attack if I'm camping and some dude just blew the shit out of a Dogman. So then some game wardens, police officers come. Game wardens look shooken up. The cops are like, what the hell is that? Game wardens really don't look like they've never seen it before. Shortly thereafter, a SUV pulls up. Some dudes, t-shirts, black cargos, jump out. They get everybody into a kind of like a questioning area. They then take everyone's phones. Mind you, we're in the woods. There's virtually no service. They go through everybody's phone individually. Take everybody's. They delete their phones. They talk to the gentleman. They wash his truck and his trailer twice and send him on his way. They tell him specifically, stop and get gas and drive right home. Now, this guy is more afraid of the agents that appeared on scene than the Dogman. Oh, by the way, after the shooting, there was many howls in the background. There was a campground, creek, mountainous area with caves and stuff, so they could hear the more howls, and the howls are getting further and further away. So he sends this to me. I'm blown away. I've been communicating with him periodically. Like I said, he's afraid. Last night, he has been looking at the comment section, and he emailed me. And this is word for word what his email states. I was reading through the comments on the show with my story. A few people had asked questions, it seems. No, none of the guys in the Denali had long guns, just large Glocks. I asked older Southern gentleman what kind it was, and he said to me a Glock 20 10mm. I really didn't give all that much detail in the description of the monster looking back in the email to you. The dead Dogman smelled horrible, like a combination of a barnyard animal mixed with strong dog piss. Also, it did have a tail, a small tail, maybe 2 feet at its longest. The Dogman was dark brown all over. Oddly enough, I do remember it had some lighter brown stripes on its arms where the blood wasn't totally soaked in the upper arm area. It was fluffy with fur, not the sparse, hairy thing I hear others talk about in their encounters. This one was fully covered in fur like an actual dog, even its arms and its legs. But when it stood up in front of me, it did seem to have some white on the middle of its chest. I could be wrong, because I only saw it that way for a second. The next time I saw its chest, it was covered completely in blood. The skin on the tip of its snout and under its bottom jaw were both sheared off by the buckshot, but its teeth were undamaged. As it lay there, it had its mouth open, and the teeth were very weird. All of them were pointed and seemed like they would fit together like a shark's teeth or alligator. The teeth were bloody but very visible. They seemed unnatural to me. My college major involved the study of teeth and fossils, so I have a good understanding of tooth structure and which type of teeth are designed for what, and it would seem that its teeth would only be useful for biting large chunks of flesh off to be swallowed whole, like a shark or a gator. They were not reminiscent of a normal canine teeth in any way. After listening to hundreds of encounters the past few months, a common theme is that they seem to like the softer inner organs of their prey while often leaving the meat behind. I wonder if it's because they swallow their food in large chunks, and obviously softer organs would be much easier than dealing with bone and tougher muscle. Just a thought. This is going to sound a bit silly, but I just have to say it. There was a feeling of something supernatural from the beginning. I can't describe it, but the feeling of something supernatural was even in the air, even when I thought it was a bear. It's like everything felt wrong and really had ceased to exist for that minute. How would every frog and insect for hundreds of yards know to be quiet? Why would the land animal like a dogman have teeth like an alligator? How did it keep flipping out and running around with its brains falling out of the top of its head? The very air around me felt like it had a weird charge. I feel like there's something important about these creatures that we just don't quite understand, something supernatural. Give me some time and I will reach out to you and talk. What is a good day and time for you usually? So I responded back to the gentleman. And like I said, the reason I don't give out exact locations or names is because of trust. This person trusts me. I'm not going to break his trust, and I'm not going to break anyone's trust. I will respect anonymity 100%. When this person contacts me back, hopefully I can have some more answers or some more details to share with you guys. I just wanted to keep you guys up to date with this. As of right now, all encounters to me are important and terrifying. But there's just a few encounters that I have come across that stick with me, and this is one of them. So I'll keep you guys updated, all right? Tonight's second encounter. Something in Corbin, Kentucky. My wife and I were trying to go see the moon bow at Cumberland Falls. We got a late start heading out there and became lost on one of those shortcuts that Google Map found us. And then lost service. Just for reference, she drives a compact four-door car. I lived in Western Virginia and Tennessee, and I've opened a dumpster on a black bear eating spaghetti and also had one stand up in front of me while riding my motorcycle through the mountains. We were traveling probably 30 to 40 miles an hour on those see-your-own taillight roads, no streetlights. But there were houses scattered along the road, and it had a line. We got to the curve that you could see from the top of the hill, and I slowed way down. It was then that we spotted a black mass in the road, and I was excited to show my wife a black bear in the wild. I came to almost a complete stop, and this black mass turned toward the car like it was surprised by us. My wife screamed because we were probably only 15 yards from this thing. I got tunnel vision, I guess, because all I can tell you is that eye shine from the headlights was golden, and one of the bottom canines gleamed. I didn't see shapes of ears or anything, but I can tell you the face was canine, and it was turning gray around the muzzle like a lab would do. It looked as if it was trying to see in the car, but within 2 to 3 seconds it walked on all fours, mind you, over to the guardrail. I don't mean it hopped over it. I'm saying it stepped over it in a stride. I've never seen anything like it. The size was incredible, and my wife told me not so nice terms to get her away from that thing. It's not as epic as some other encounters I've read. Just figured I'd share it in case anyone else has seen anything in that area. I could probably get an exact date if I ask my wife, if anyone even cares about that detail. Wow. Right there, the gentleman is comparing his encounter to others. I don't think anyone should. An encounter is something that can cause serious PTSD, no matter if it's extreme or just very quick, and there's almost virtually no contact other than seeing the creature. Our brains are meant to not believe these things exist. From childhood, we are told that things like this don't exist. As I'm actually recording this, so we're just going to stop the exit thing, I do have an update on the Corbin, Kentucky. It was May 17th, 2019, and I'm relatively certain we were in the Daniel Boone National Forest. My wife says that she remembers being able to see grayish-black skin, and it not being completely covered in hair. She said it looked sort of like a person bent over walking on its hands and feet. She said its back was arched a bit when it stepped over the guardrail. She didn't believe in any of this weird stuff and just freaked out because we were just talking about how pretty and bright the full moon was, and then we were staring at a wolf the size of her car. I'd also like to refer you back to the guardrail. I'm 6'2", and cannot, on my best day, take a 29-30-inch guardrail in stride. We stayed over in Corbin as we were on our way to West Virginia to the Mothman Museum. I pretty well lived in the woods until my early 20s, and had some bad enough experiences unrelated to this that I avoid the back country if at all possible. Alright, sorry about that. Back to the outro. So like I was saying, no encounter is minute, no matter what someone feels, or even like if you're talking to somebody or you're on some sort of forum and they're like, well, that's not that great of an encounter. Well, you know what? Chances are when they say that's not that great of an encounter, they didn't have an encounter. Because, like I said, any encounter is traumatic. Our brains, as a child, were told these things don't exist by our parents, TV, and whatnot. Okay? These things were turned into toys, movies. And that's the government, the news, the industry, all run by the government or one government, keeping the lid on these things. So, regardless of the amount of time you saw, every encounter is significant. Just that brief encounter this guy and his wife had shared a lot of information. It doesn't, I'm not going to play the record twice. It just doesn't matter what the size is. It's still an encounter and traumatic. So, guys, don't let anybody ever tell you that it's not and it doesn't matter. There's a lot of people who are in these forums and who comment on Reddit and whatever that will discredit your encounter. But chances are they've never had an encounter. There's people that talk about encounters and share encounters and write books that have never had an encounter. And I don't necessarily think that's right, but it's great that they're doing it because they're getting the info out. I just think that someone who hasn't had an encounter is best to help people share their encounter. My whole goal with this channel is I just want people to share their encounters with us so we can, 1, learn as much as possible. 2, so that person can help themselves by sharing that encounter and help somebody else. Because once you've shared your encounter, as stupid as it sounds, you do feel a little better because it's out there. And you've got people who believe you, not people that doubt you. So, anyway, enough of my Dr. Phil, whatever, Dr. Drew. I'm really excited about this channel and how things are going lately. I'm really excited with, talked about it briefly, I'm going to be doing a series of audiobooks. Right now, the author and I are working with ACX to get everything going. The second I do get everything going, I will let you know who the author is and title of the books, so you guys can go and check the audiobook out once I'm done reading them. And I am super excited because, you know, not only do I love sharing people's encounters, but I loved sitting in front of the mic. And that's part of the reason why I have a second channel, is because, and I keep it separate, is because I've always been interested in like radio or voice acting, and that's something that I've always wanted to do. And right now I'm literally living my dream, and I can't not be any more thankful. It's because of you guys and your support that my dream is coming true. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to bid you farewell.